the stage. Alrighty, we are live. Welcome to Roundtable 1. It's an MTB Thang TLC panel. We are here. I'm going to let my lead moderator, Glennis Wiggins, take it away. Hello, everyone.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm so excited to be here and talk to you guys about TLC and Left Eye. I'm super excited. I would love for both of you guys to just introduce yourselves really quick and just have a little fun with it. How about you guys tell me some of your favorite TLC songs and the Lisa songs, and these could be features, some of Left Eye's solo hits, some of her deep cuts, just anything.
Who's going first?
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, I was like, anybody who wants to jump in, you can go for it.
Okay, well, I am Angie Thomas. I am an author of several. I'll just say it. I don't like talking about myself like this, but I'm the author of several #1 New York Times bestselling novels, including The Hate You Give, On the Come Up, Concrete Rose, and Nick Blake and the Remarkables, The Manifest of Prophecy, as well as producer of film adaptations of my work. And I'm a huge TLC fan, specifically a Lisa fan. Since I was 4 years old, and my pre-K teacher played Ooh on the TLC tip during nap time, and I refused to nap, and I listened to the album, and I came home reciting TLC, and my mom had to go up there and ask the teacher what in the world. But I would have to say, ooh, that's a hard one trying to narrow down. I'm gonna always go with my favorite rap of Lisa's is the Waterfalls rap, because of the personal connection I have with it and how it ended up connecting me to her later on. So yeah, that's a hard question for me to answer, but I'm just gonna say that one for now.
And Courtney, you can go next if you'd like.
Hi, hello, I'm Courtney, aka T-Boss Archive, and my favorite song by Lisa is True Confessions, Always Will Be, because I love the storytelling and I'm a sucker for stories. I love it. And her wordplay was amazing on that song. Like, oh my gosh. JoJo.
Hi, I'm JoJo, aka TLC Fulfilled on Instagram and Twitter, and my favorite Left Eye song definitely is Life is Like a Park. I just love her lyricism in that song, her flow. I love the meaning behind the song. It's very deep. It goes very deep, and I can relate to it a lot. And yeah, that's my all time favorite Left Eye song.
Okay, and I guess I'll introduce myself next since I made all of you guys do so. But my name is Glennis Wiggins. I am a journalist with a beat in culture, music, and social justice issues and marginalized groups. I currently am a digital producer for CBS at a local station in North Carolina, and I've been featured in HuffPost, Black Girl Nerds, and a couple of other smaller independent publications. And again, I will be your moderator today as we celebrate the life and legacy of Lisa Lopes. And we all pretty much know just, the journey of TLC and Lisa, and, how her lyrics have advocated for self-expression for women, safe sex, highlighting the AIDS and HIV epidemic, drug abuse, and different things like that. And TLC still being reigned as the greatest girl group of all time. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump on in, and I would just love for us to just talk about Lisa's talents and everything early on, even before TLC. And I'd love you guys' opinions on how, Lisa's presence in the group just kind of made TLC whole, and how that helped the evolution of TLC, especially in those early years of them getting started. So, Courtney, I would love for you to jump in. Oh, hi, Ian. It looks like Ian is
Hey,
joining us.
sorry for being late, guys.
Oh, you're fine. We were actually just jumping in, but I'd love for you to introduce yourself, your background, and give us your favorite Lisa Left Eye song.
Oh, wow. Okay. Um, First of all, I'm Ian Burke. Um, I'm the one who actually put Left Eye, Lisa Lopes, in the group TLC. And I don't know, but I don't have a favorite Left Eye song, but my favorite rap, I would have to say, was the Donnell Jones feature. Girl, you know what's up.
Nice pick. Nice pick.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorites. I heard that when I was really, really young, and that's definitely something that's stuck with me too. Um, but the question I was asking, and Ian, I may have you start this one off, is especially since you work so closely with Left Eye and you're one of the co-founders of TLC, I would love just your opinion on her talent early on before the group and how that helped TLC evolve, especially in those early years of their career.
Well, immediately I saw the talent um, when she auditioned for me uh, over at a rehearsal that Rico Wade had set up. Rest in peace. Um, at first look, I wasn't interested in her being a part of the situation because of what she was wearing. I hadn't heard her rap, but when I did hear her rap, um, I was like, okay, yeah, let me rethink this thing. And I saw all the creativeness that was within her, which led me to put her in the group. So yeah, she and as time went on, I got to see how immensely talented she was in terms of, coming up with ideas for the group, styling for the group, concepts for the group. So yeah, she was an immense talent and you know, a good friend.
Yeah, for sure. Angie or Courtney, whoever wants to jump in next. I love you guys' opinions too on how you believe Lisa's like early career helped evolve TLC in those early years of their career as well.
Lisa Left Eye Lopez, as we all know, she was very she was the visual of TLC, the artistic side of TLC, from designing outfits where her former look, where her member of TLC, from designing outfits with T-Bars and painting, and she was very creative. She had a vision that not a lot, you don't see that talent everywhere. It's very rare. And I think that really helped TLC in the long run because their what their style was bigger than their music, as they would say. And hmm, oh, her flow. Although she said that she had a hard time finding her flow in the beginning of her career. When she did find it, she stuck out like a sore thumb because didn't nobody sound like Lisa. Her voice was very unique, very powerful. She was talking about stuff. She was talking about stuff that people at the time wasn't even talking about. So that's what I think it helped TLC.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The creativity, like whenever I think of Lisa, I think of creativity, and it's so many different ways beyond just musically, artistically, fashion wise, all of those things. And she brought all of that to the table. And I don't think the hip hop community gives her enough credit for that. For what she not what she brought to the group, but honestly, the influence that she brought to the industry, because we're seeing the imprint of that now. You know what I mean? We're seeing the rap girlies do things that are clearly inspired by her early creativity and then her later creativity. So I think of her as a creative force. And I think too, we didn't even get to see everything as fans or even know everything that she put her hand in the group. But there's still things we're still finding out to this day. You know what I'm saying? But I think that, like, when I think of that era, the Ooh on the TLC tip era, and I think of how she rapped and the things she was rapping about and the things the group was singing about, um, it it was done in such a way that it can't be forgotten. So when I think of her creativity, I think of unforgettable creativity, somebody that was unique, and someone who, even though she was still discovering who she was, we knew when we got a glimpse to see, like, early on, before she was even using the word supernova, we got to see this was a supernova from the get-go. And this is a star that you can't ignore. So when I think of her, I think of a creative star that you couldn't ignore.
Yeah, absolutely. She definitely was just like out of the stratosphere, like 100%. And that's what made her unique, especially within the group as well. And with like the success of like their sisterhood with T-Boz, Chili, and that they had, how do you think, her being in TLC helped her as an individual artist? Like, what did she, like what did that sisterhood help with her artistry, whether it was her style or her cadence and her like her raps? Because she had like a really like eloquent vocabulary when it came to her raps and her rhymes and just anything that she did. So, you know, that sisterhood and her group and TLC, the group, definitely helped her grow. So I'd love you guys' opinions on that too, about how, kind of like vice versa. Like, how did TLC basically help Lisa evolve into her artistry as well? And whoever wants to jump in first is totally fine. We're just having fun. So whoever wants to start the discussion is cool.
Well, in the beginning, it was, of course, everybody knows that there was a different C in the group. Crystal was in the group that I created. Um, but Tion and Lisa really bonded creatively in the very beginning. Um, and I think they kind of fed off of each other. In the beginning, Jermaine Dupri was actually producing tracks for the girls. Um, and, he was one of the ones who encouraged Tion to continue to sing. She was already singing in that low tone, in that lower register, but he encouraged her to keep singing in that tone, even though she felt like she sounded like a guy, like a dude. But I think in the early days, the two of them sort of fed off of each other creatively, and created a dynamic that helped to build the foundation of TLC. And then later on, Razonda would fill that void uh, that was to complete the group TLC. So, um, like you said, one worked without the other. I don't think that that group was meant to be. Those three young ladies were meant to be. I can't see anyone else, unfortunately, because Crystal was a good friend of mine, is a good friend of mine. But I couldn't see anyone else in any of those three positions. Um, yeah, that's my humble opinion.
No, that's beautiful. And I love that you basically, talked about those early years and, just talked about how Lisa and T-Boz specifically just had that really early connection and bounced like their creativity off of that. Courtney, if you'd like, I'd love your opinion on this topic as well.
Um, he basically said what I already know. I do agree. Tian and Lisa did have a very creative bond, as Tian would say that um, creative inspires the creative. So when those two started, and then when Rosanna came along, it was something that was just meant to be. Nothing, no TLC girl could be replaced. So that's what I loved about the group. They stuck, for the most part, they stuck together.
Yeah, it would be hard for me to imagine any three other people in the group than those three. It was definitely an MTB thing. Although, if you would have told 6-year-old Angie, she would have swore up and down she was a fourth member. But um, but I think too that because it was such an MTB thing, that it was such a magical thing, and you could see how their creativity fed one another. You could even see, you could especially see it in the first album. You could see like this was something, they weren't just hungry and driven. They were excited. They were finding new ways to, you know, use their creativity together. There was no other group putting, condoms on their clothing. There was no other group, with the baggy clothing and all of this. So it took all three of them together to create that magic. And we are, I'd say we as fans are blessed by it. But I would say too, again, the industry, hip hop as a whole, the music industry as a whole was blessed by it. And once again, I'm going to say they don't get enough credit. They don't get enough props. They don't get enough flowers for what they did, especially in those early days, and how they literally changed the industry for women going forward.
No, I absolutely agree. Like they really were about women and just self-expression for women, empowerment for women, and just being able to, just talk about sex and even enjoying sex, but having safe sex too. Like they really spearheaded a lot of these topics that, women in hip hop now are talking about, and they're sometimes left out of the conversation. Lisa, to me especially. Um, Jojo, I'd love to ask you this question, especially as an archivist running pages, dedicated to TLC. I would just love, like, in your research, have there been like any revelations with the group that maybe change your perception or even deepen your appreciation for their artistry? Or,
Of course, just TLC and its in a whole is just so iconic. But something that really stood out to me a lot was just no matter how much the stuff that they went through, they still remained as one and still remained as a group and still did what they had to do and serve their purpose in the music industry, and that's what I really love and admired about them a lot. Stuff that I did, like, during research and stuff, is just their female empowerment, just seeing how much they really cared about female empowerment, and how much they really cared about the women and talking for women, and, like, because not a lot of people wanted to really talk about sex at the time, and TLC was really doing it and really putting it in their face, like, hey, it's okay to talk about this, it's okay to do this, so that's what I really yeah, that's what I would say.
oh yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
And doing this archival work too, I know it definitely comes with some challenges. So I would love for you to speak on those challenges you may have faced running pages like this, and why you believe like this archival work for uh, like female groups or hip hop is so vital, especially in the media age that we're in.
Is just the challenges of running a fan page, it's just I would say it's kind of just people having, like, I would say, like, bad opinions, or, like, not, I wouldn't say bad opinions, but, like, having, like, negative things to say. And, like, sometimes you have to, like, kind of ignore it, but sometimes, like, you feel like retaliating. But it's just like, it's kind of just stuff like that. But I feel like archiving is really important in the fandom because it really just helps new generations learn about TLC, and just more and more to come, more of, like, the little generations to learn a lot more about TLC and their importance in the music industry. So I think that's why archiving is really important too.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And we're also in just a weird media age too, where it's really hard to gather that kind of information, especially from the past when it comes to like groups or hip hop. You see it every day. MTV is getting shut down, or BuzzFeed is getting shut down. So it is really pivotal to be able to continue to tell these stories from that perspective, with like that truth and everything behind it. So it's really
Right.
good work that you do, and we definitely appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Angie, I'd love for you to talk about Lisa and your perspective, because I know you've talked multiple times about how Lisa has, inspired you. You've actually talked to her. She literally saved your life, and you were a young MC yourself. So I'd love for you to just touch on that a little bit, and I'd love to hear more about her influence as an MC and how that stepped into your writing style as an author.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the funny thing is that it's funny that you're on here, Ian, because I think we did a panel a couple of years ago. We were on the same virtual panel, and I didn't get a chance to tell you this, but years ago, when I was a teenager, from ages 13, I want to say, till 17, I was trying to be a rapper. I made demos. I was in a couple of magazines, blah, blah, blah. And I was a huge Lisa fan. I was always on the Inetics board and all of that. And I remember when you and Lisa announced that y'all were doing a record company together, Wish Records. And I had my mom trying to figure out how to get my demo to y'all, like everything. I kid you not. Like I was looking, trying to figure it out. And it ended up, that's how I ended up. My mom when I had like a rough time. I was having a rough time in school, getting bullied. And instead of trying to, pursue trying to get Lisa's contact or anything for music stuff, my mom wanted to try to get me to talk to her because I was going through a rough time. And she thought if her music inspired me, then maybe talking to her would really inspire me. So I ended up talking to her on the phone, and that conversation really had a huge impact on me. But beyond just that conversation, as a creative, one thing seeing Lisa and seeing TLC did for me, it gave me permission to be as creative as I want to be as an author, as an artist. And so now as I'm an author and as I'm writing specifically for young people, not only am I making myself challenge my creativity with that in mind, but I'm also very aware of what I put out into the world, just as Lisa was, especially towards the end of her life. She was super aware of what she wanted to say and about the young people who were listening to her. I remember one, interview where she was talking about she didn't want to do a song about pimping because kids listened to her. She didn't want to have that. And so now as an author, for young people specifically, I think of things like that. And I have to give her props for influencing me on that part. And then I always try to find ways to pay homage to her in every book I write. So, for instance, in The Hate You Give, Star's mom's name is Lisa. In the movie, I had them put a TLC poster in Star's bedroom.
I've seen it.
Yeah, and on the come up, the main character Bree wants to be a rapper, and if you read some of her raps and stuff and see her style, it's very much reminiscent of early TLC, early Lisa. And then like Nick Blake, my newest book, which is for younger kids, the main character's name is Nicole, which is Lisa's middle name, and her birthday is May 27th. So I'm always finding ways to pay homage to her because I'm so grateful for the influence she's had on me. And it's funny because I now have kids who will come up to me at events and they want to talk to me about her. And these are kids who were born in the last 10 years, I did an event in Atlanta and Raindrop came and I got to finally meet her. And, we met backstage and then we went out and I'm on stage, and during the Q&A, this little cute 10-year-old girl came up to the mic and she was like, "Can you tell your Left Eye story?" And it brought Raindrop to tears because she's like, wow, you have this little kid who was not around during TLC's time who wants to know more about my sister. So I'm going to always find ways to pay homage to her and in some little way and in some big way. So I feel like that's the least I can do for the impact she had on me.
That was beautiful, like absolutely. And I've read your books too, so I've caught some of those little nuances here and there, and just heard your story. So I think it's beautiful that even just you as an author, I know you love hip hop, so even just you as an author, still putting those tidbits in, and even inspiring the young generation. Like Jojo, you had said earlier with like your fan page, and Courtney with your fan page as well. Like it's really important to just keep legacy alive. So that that's what we do, and I love that. Well, as you guys know, this past February, Fan Mail celebrated its 25th anniversary. That's crazy, right? Like, absolutely insane. Fan Mail was a warm tribute to fans who had sent fan mail to TLC during the hiatus, and that was an idea that was sparked by Lisa. And this upcoming November, Crazy Sexy Cool will be celebrating its 30th anniversary, which is also kind of crazy. And it was both of those albums were really successful. They on the Billboard charts, like they had #1 singles. And, there was a lot of trouble when it came to recording Crazy Sexy Cool, especially with, Lisa being in court-ordered rehab and indicted with arson. So I would love for you guys to just talk about, or your thoughts, especially on Left Eye taking on the Crazy title, especially with perceptions that revolved around her at this time, especially after the aftermath of everything that happened with her being indicted on the arson charge. And Courtney, I'd love for you to jump in and start that discussion.
On the arson trial, I feel like people took it out of proportion. Not only did I not feel like she was crazy, I feel like although people were calling her crazy, she flipped it and was like, okay, well, y'all call me crazy, I'm gonna be that. But she wasn't crazy in a way like, oh my gosh, cuckoo. She was crazy creative. And she took it like a G, because she She handled it so well, although it may seem like she handled it so well, she went through some things that us publicly didn't know. And I feel like that time period for her, I guess she changed the way she looked at things. And she changed the way she reacted to things. I can't think of the phrase, but she made a better situation out of a bad situation. And I feel like the public really did a little too much. That's my take on the situation.
Definitely.
I would love Ian if you'd love to just jump in on this discussion as well. I guess just how how this perception revolved around her and everything.
Well, first of all, I have to ask, Courtney, is it? How old are you?
I'm I'm 19.
Oh my goodness. So, and you don't. The reason why I ask, you know what I'm saying, is because you have such deep perception in somebody, and your research has led you to feel these feelings about this particular person, which is almost spot on. You know what I'm saying? Because if my calculations are correct, you were born in what year?
05.
And Lisa passed in '02. You know what I'm saying? So she wasn't even alive when you were born, which is crazy to me. Um, but this is the genius that was Lisa. You know what I'm saying? Courtney is absolutely correct. Like, she took a situation and she flipped it. She flipped it creatively, and she was going to be like, okay, cool. You know, she also, as you know, she came up with the title for Crazy Sexy Cool. Um, and it's something that still sticks and stands strong to this very day. That very phrase, because you hear it all the time. People describing themselves as crazy, sexy, cool, or whatever. You know, but she flipped it and she made it work for herself. You know, she had to take people's public opinion of her personal life, not even in the business, in her personal life, because Lisa wasn't involved in drugs or anything like that. She drank a little bit. She did drink, but she wasn't overbearing with it. And um, she made it work not only for her, but for the group as well. You know, they benefited from her pain. You know what I'm saying? Because if the Vibe magazine didn't come out with that fireman issue with the fire, and everybody on here knows, everybody that's done their research, they didn't just shoot a couple with fire and firemen's clothes. They were police officers. They did several different covers for the Vibe magazine. But Vibe chose to use the fireman as the cover, and it was, you know, it was a stroke of genius, but it was still capitalizing off of Lisa's pain. But like Courtney said again, she took it like a G, and she was like, you know, this is what it is. This is what it takes. Let's go. And, you know, that album has surpassed a lot of female groups' albums, you know, 15, 16 million globally. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is, again, this is the genius that was Lisa.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And while we're on the topic too, Lisa had talked about the violence that she experienced with her relationship with Andre Rison. And, back then they kind of didn't really talk about that, and they even kind of flipped the script to where it made her seem like she was for lack of a better word, like the aggressor in this situation. And we are in like a different kind of hip hop age where people and women especially are talking about, violence or misogyny or that kind of thing that they're experiencing today. And I would just love to know you guys' opinions. Like, had this happened at a different time, especially maybe right now where we're in like this post Me Too era, how do you guys think the world would have perceived Lisa as opposed to how they perceived her back then.
I
Well,
don't know.
Lisa
Oh,
was.
sorry.
Oh, sorry, my bad, Angie.
Oh,
You go
no,
ahead.
you're good. No, I was just gonna say I don't know how, but I just think that social media discourse would have just been like on a whole nother level. So you go ahead, Ian.
No, you're right. There's somebody I did an interview with Ryan Cameron, a very popular radio host here in Atlanta, and he asked me if I felt that TLC would work in this social media era, and I said absolutely, because they were always a visual group, always. You know what I'm saying? They would have, if Lisa was still alive today, she'd be dominating on social media. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and the perception with I mean, it's natural now to be all in somebody's personal business. That's that people want to see that type of toxicity. They're on the internet looking and scrolling through TikTok and seeing all the drama and stuff like that. And I can speak to it because I'm one of those people. I didn't even want TikTok, and I flipped through it looking at all of these police stories and all these other drama-filled situations. They would love it. They would love it. As unfortunate as it may seem. I think they painted Lisa out to be the bad guy because, in all honesty, I feel like Lisa was more popular than Andre at the time. Um, so of course they're going to jump on that bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? But Lisa was just like any other woman that's on this thread right now. She was a young woman in love with a man who was a very successful athlete, who had women swooning over him, and she was very protective of that relationship. That's all it was, and like I dare say that anybody on this feed right now hasn't done something that they have regretted with a significant other, whether you wrote about it in one of your books, Angie, one of those little stories, one of those anecdotes, here, this happened to me, and I'm gonna put it in my book. You know what I'm saying? Or Courtney, you still young, but or anybody for that matter. We've all gone through these type of situations. It's just that they happen to be in the limelight and people capitalize off of it. And had that situation happened today, it would have been even more sensationalized. That's my view on it.
I
I didn't
100%.
mean to put you out there, Angie.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. No, absolutely 1000%. Like I put it in books. That's the difference, I tell people all the time, don't piss me off because you gonna get it in a book.
Exactly. That's how Candy does it. Candy put all of her hurt and pain in songs. When you hear No Scrubs, when you hear Bills, 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 that's all Candy putting all her frustrations about her past boyfriends on ink and making money from it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Gosh.
Sorry, you guys, my computer is lagging like crazy. I apologize for the inconvenience. Um, but yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you guys are saying. We definitely are in a different kind of social media age, and we do kind of see everybody's business on social media. And if it's not them, it's just like, the public opinion is like just more sensationalized, like you said, Ian. So I definitely agree with you on that. I personally think Lisa, if she was alive today, she'd be a beast on social media. Like I can only imagine her on like the Instagram lives or even during like the Versus era during COVID. Like I feel like it would have been like something different to see for sure. And I would just love to hear about you guys, how you believe Lisa's legacy has stood the test of time, especially after all of these years after her passing, from her style to her message and to her growth as an artist. And Jojo, if you don't mind, I'd love to hear your opinion first about this.
I see Lisa's influence a lot in today's music, especially with artists like Doja Cat and Cardi B. I see her influence a lot in Doja Cat. Just her just how just how like she was as a rapper, you know, people really took a lot that she did back when she was alive and just made it into their own thing. And you can really see her inspiration a lot in a lot of artists' music and their looks and their like how Glorilla she recreated Lisa's outfit that she wore at the 2000 Hip Hop Awards. Like her influence is really dominant today in the music business, and I'm really that really makes me happy seeing that people really still care about Lisa and they still really show love to her.
Courtney, I'd love your opinion too, especially since you also run like archive pages and everything like that, and you're on social media. So I'd love your thoughts on these topics as well.
I see a lot of Left Eye influence, especially some fans. They even fans of Left Eye, they want to become a rapper just like her, including me. I wanted to be a rapper, but um, her influence, especially in Doja, I see it a lot. Creativity, and the way Doja goes about press. I find it very funny because it's very similar to Lisa. Um, I also see it in Glorilla, her styling, as Jojo just said, the dress. That was fantastic. I loved it. Um, yeah, I'm happy that people are still loving Lisa and showing love. And us, the Symposium people, making this Symposium to spread more love. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you guys talked about Doja and Glorilla already, but I'd love Angie and Ian, like, which hip hop artists, like women hip hop artists today, that you see might also have some of Lisa's influence. Like, if you hear them rap or anything, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely 100% Lisa, or like, especially her influence. I know Courtney and JoJo said Doja, but I'd love you guys' opinions on that as well.
I don't. I personally don't listen to a lot of today's female hip hop. A lot of it is ratchet, so I couldn't name. I'm, listen. I'm almost 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I don't listen. I don't know a lot of these artists. You know what I'm saying? I know who Doja Cat is, but I cannot speak on them. That doesn't mean that their music isn't good. That doesn't mean that they're bad artists. It's just, I just don't choose to listen to them. I can speak though on the legacy that not only Lisa but TLC has left behind. It used to amaze me when I used to see people imitate, young kids imitate Michael Jackson. And once again, when he's passing, you still see these children dressing like him and stuff like that. So when I see people do that for Halloween, to still see these kids do that, it's amazing. It's amazing. I never thought that Angie, you know how your book touches people. The love the oh my goodness, the hate you give, how it touches people. You just don't know it until you birth it and you see people's reaction.
Yeah, that book is amazing. I have it. It's right over
Oh,
there.
thank you. Thank
That
you.
book, I read it all the time. I love that, and I love the movie.
That was the first
Thank
book I
you.
bought at the book fair.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's like the first book I bought.
I'm
Thank
not gonna
you.
lie,
Well,
I'm a fan too, Angie. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
See, so
oh,
you
no,
don't
that's
even
so
know. You don't even know. Like you're touching people that you just don't know, and to have helped birth this particular situation is so very important. That's why I do these things.
And Ian, we have you too, because you saw
great.
Lisa's light
Yeah.
and her artistry very, very early on, way before found like being founding TLC. So, it was, your ear and your artistry that helped us even have a conversation when it comes to Left Eye. So I definitely understand like your sentiments and just, being thankful. You helped pave the way for like girl groups and musical legacy and hip hop. And, I just want to thank you as well for just, you know, being such a pivotal person within the music industry. Like, you are legendary. You are
Yes.
absolutely legendary, and you deserve your flowers, just like Lisa deserves her flowers, and all of us, who do this work to keep this legacy alive, So thank you, sir.
Yes,
My pleasure.
I wanted to say that too. Like, thank you. You don't get your flowers enough. We wouldn't be sitting here having this if it weren't for you not only having the vision, but moving on the vision. A lot of times people get ideas and they don't do anything with it. And with your idea, you changed so many lives. So we're all grateful for it. So thank you. Thank you. And if you ever get to talk to Crystal, tell her thank you too, because I don't think TLC
Yes.
fans thank her enough.
No,
And
exactly.
with how everything that happened with the movie and everything and all of that, nobody gives her the thanks. So if you ever get to talk to her soon, please tell her this
I will
fan says thank
definitely
you.
tell her because it was for her. If it wasn't for Crystal, there'd be no TLC. I built the group around Crystal, so she's definitely a very very pivotal part of the heart of TLC.
Exactly.
So I thank all of you guys on here.
Thank you. And y'all are about to make me start getting misty, and I'm the one that's moderating this, okay? um, well, as you guys know, Supernova celebrated its 23rd anniversary yesterday.
Yes.
I would just love y'all's opinion on, had Supernova been given like the fair chance with its release in the US, how do you think it would have like skyrocketed Lisa's legacy? Like she already has a very fulfilling legacy as it is, but like had Supernova come out and her other project come out too, how do you think that would have like, how do you think that would have, you know, put her, to me, I believe it would put her in a different stratosphere and she'd be talked about a lot more, but I would love you guys' opinions on that as well.
Um, for me personally, I feel like if Supernova and the label was not playing with her, um, I feel like she would have been in her own boat. She would have been very different from what was coming out at the time. She would have been very ahead of her time. And I feel like it would have been the impact of what Waterfalls might have been to kids nowadays. Because I feel like kids, the new generation now are very open minded to things, very emotionally intelligent. The new generation. So I feel like they would have loved the album. It would have had a major impact.
Definitely,
Now,
definitely.
people don't know what she had in store. That's the thing that bothers me the most about it. Now, I'm going to speak honestly. Um, Supernova, for me, in my opinion, was like Andre 3000's Flute album. It was a very personal album for her. But a lot of people don't know, like, we were going to LA and meeting with Stan Lee of Marvel Comics, building a whole comic series about her, eventually leading into a cartoon. A lot of people don't know what we were doing to prepare for the release of Supernova, and a lot of people won't know that. So it didn't get the props that it got because a lot of people felt that it was a personal album and it wasn't a commercial album. And I think that that's you know where everything stopped, and they decided, well, let's just release it overseas and see what it does. So, but there was a lot that was going to go into that project, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. But yeah, I think that it would have been a little different if we were able to do some of the things that we were planning on doing for the release of the album.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you said y'all were going to meet with Stan Lee and there was going to be a comic. Y'all can't see my shirt good. But I got
Gosh.
That's
that's what I'm
cute.
sitting here wearing, like a TLC comic T-shirt, like, and she's
That's
in the
so
middle.
cute.
I've seen that
So
online.
That is so cute.
that's one of those things I'm like sitting here like, wow, wow. So no, I think that's probably, they always say I'm a Christian, and that's my belief system. And they always say, don't question God, but I'm always like, there was so much she wanted to do that she didn't get to do, that would have changed so many minds, hearts, and stuff, not just even just musically, but in the health world. And it's funny to me to now see people talking about Dr. Sabi, talking about CMOS. CMOS is everywhere, and Lisa was talking about CMOS in 2001, 2002. So there was so much she had left to do. And I think and that's one of those things where I'm just like, we all missed out on a lot. And now to sit here and hear something else, that she was working on, that she was planning to do, I think that is just, that's one of the biggest crimes, that we just didn't. But when it comes to Supernova, I'm like Ian. I think that was a very personal album, and it really was a door into her heart, not just into her creative mind. It was a door into her heart. It was a window into it, and I do believe, I don't know about how it would have in 2001, but I know right now, and this is not me coming at anybody, but if they re-release that album right now, the things that she's talking about then would have such an impact on young people and listeners right now, because it's so relevant. We're having these conversations right now about grief and the process of grief and all of these things. What A New
Right.
Star is Born would do for people who are going through that, and we're having these conversations. So I feel I, I I feel as if too we missed out even on a second Lisa solo album, and a third one. Who knows what she would have done by the fourth one? You know what I mean? So it's it's but what it does for me is, and I hope it does for you all and everybody watching, I hope that it reminds us that, hey, just like she had that drive and she was going out doing these things and trying to make her visions and dreams come true, whatever vision you have, whatever dream it is that you have inside of you, go make it happen. We gotta go make it happen, because that's what we're here for. We're here to see those things and manifest them and make them come to be. And so that's what she was doing. And I think one of the best ways we can continue her legacy is to walk forth on that same path.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Preach, sister.
So let me hit up these folks that I've been thinking about ideas for. You just inspired me, and shoot, let me hit up some of these folks.
No, absolutely. It's insane because I'm a nerd in every aspect. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. So hearing the thought of like having like a Lisa comic or them working with Stan Lee, I appreciate the information, but I'm like seething on the inside. Y'all can't see it. I'm being, but that's absolutely just amazing to hear. And I believe, because we are in a different hip hop era, or just different music era period, where we are seeing more artists being more vulnerable in their works. And I believe even if Supernova were to like properly come out today, I feel like it would be an absolute success, not just because of Lisa, but because of topics that are on that album. And I don't know why people are so afraid of vulnerability, like back in the day. Like, I don't know what it was about having like, your heart on your sleeve being released. I don't know what that problem was, but I feel like, we all love Supernova. We know the potential it has and it could have had, but to hear that there was just all these different rollouts for it and just these different ideas people had for it and just didn't get the fair chance, it is just really sad to hear. And I feel like it would have definitely just put her in a completely different range. Like, she's already just seen as a legend, but if it had been out, she'd be in a completely different stratosphere when it comes to just being a pivotal woman in hip hop. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I definitely see that. I would love, because I see our chat is popping off right now. I would love to see if anybody in the chat has questions for our panelists. Any questions for all of the amazing people that we have up here. I appreciate getting the opportunity to talk to you guys. This was really fun.
Yeah.
So I love our panelists, or not panelists, but if our people in the chat have any questions for you guys, I'll give y'all a minute or two to get to typing.
Q&A.
We have a lot of really good comments too. I don't know if you guys been looking through them and everything.
Are you going to reread these questions? Because I do not have my glasses on.
Oh, you are. Yeah, I'm looking to see it, and
I'm getting all close to the screen.
you're
It
fine.
says,
We
Ian,
did
what's your
have
funniest Lisa memory you can share?
What?
That
What
question,
is what?
that one says, Ian, what is your
funniest memory.
funniest Lisa memory you can share?
Oh, it's that Stan Lee trip that we were going to. Lisa's just a few years younger than I. But when we were getting ready to get on a plane, we were checking our bags in at Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, and we were standing outside check-in, and the guy was like, "I need to see your ID." And I pulled out my ID, and I was, signaling to Lisa to pull out her driver's license. And Lisa had no makeup on, had on her backpack, her little coat and everything like that. And the guy was like, "Oh no, your daughter doesn't have to show her ID, just you." And I was like, "Okay." And I just looked at her. She looked at me, and she just cracked up laughing. And we just played it off, and we just walked on in. But Lisa has always been. If you look at anybody in the family, or even if you look at Raindrop, they don't age. They don't age. You just don't know how old any of them are. You know what I'm saying? And Lisa always looked like a little girl with her little 5 foot self. And especially if she wasn't wearing makeup or had on any of the gear, or it wasn't stage or event ready. She was just looked like an average little girl, like Courtney. And she was 30 years old at the time. So that's a moment that will always be in my mind. It's there because it just feels like it just happened. Yeah. So yeah, that's my good experience, my good old Lisa moment. One of them.
Oh yeah, I love that. We have another question from Stephanie. It says, "What do y'all wish you would have seen from Lisa?"
I wanted to see that show she had planned, Chef I. I don't know.
Yes.
I wanted to see that. That would have been
That
amazing to see. I think that would
that
have been hilarious too.
it would, the way she had it lined up, and I don't mean to jump in because it's amazing that you said that, because the way that she had it set up in her kitchen, where there were these lights that looked like flying saucers around the kitchen bar, the stove, and all that, and they would fly out into the universe and get recipes from all over the universe and bring them back, and then she would prepare them. The whole idea was incredible. It was incredible. And I'm with you. I would have loved to have seen that come into fruition.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
And I think too about that, and I think about like now how we're in this age where you don't need to go to the middleman to put your stuff out there. Like she could have been doing that on YouTube. Like, could you
Yes,
imagine
Yeah.
a
yes.
Left Eye YouTube channel? Like, she would have. Who knows what all she could have done on there? She could have released her music herself without needing the record company. All that stuff. Like, I the restraint of the middleman with all these companies and stuff. That was that's what kept us from getting a lot of that stuff. But had she been around now, we'd have the show and the YouTube channel. I would have loved to have seen a Left Eye vlog. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That would have been like and a
The day
podcast,
of my
like
life.
a podcast unfiltered. That would have been incredible. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, that's what I
definitely.
wish we could have seen.
I don't mean to interrupt because I am behind the stage, but I was talking to Raindrop yesterday and I was like just fascinated by her sharing the story about how she built that kitchen specifically for that show. Like the things that she was going to do with Chef Dai was going to be amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I'm going back on stage now. I just want to share that.
All right, I think we have time for. Okay, we have maybe two more questions. This one's for Ian and Angie. What are your favorite songs from Supernova?
Angie, you wanna?
I was saying that's a good question. Ooh, let's see. Let Me Live. I think that's my favorite. And then just for like when I'm in traffic and like people are getting on my nerves, I put on Hot. I don't know. It kind of pumps me up. I don't know. I probably need to dial back on that. It's either I put on her song Hot or I put on Pac's Ambitions as a Rider. I need to chill out on that. Let's see. I absolutely do love A New Star Is Born. I listened to that a lot after my grandmother passed. So that one, and I do love the Universal Quest because of the questions she asked, because they're questions we all ask. So yeah, I could probably go on and on, but those are like my top ones right there.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I could never bring myself to listen to Supernova. I couldn't. I could never. I could never listen to it. You know. I'll just leave it at that. World Party or Dance Party. I saw the video and things of that nature, but most folks didn't understand. Like we were very close. We were extremely close.
Yeah.
I just couldn't listen to it.
No, that's understandable. And even after all these years, it's understandable to still not want to. So, definitely don't blame you, because, like, especially with how vulnerable it is, too, it can be a lot, especially since you knew her so personally. So, I think we have one more question. I think it's another Supernova question, but I guess it's for everyone. What are you guys' opinions after maybe hearing it for the first time? Or even maybe just, after hearing it for the first time, what is you guys' opinions on that?
I was just completely mesmerized. I was just like, wow. Like every single song that you listen to on the album, it really just touches you in the deepest part of your soul. Like it really just gets to you. Her lyricism and just how everything just went behind the album. It was just amazing. It was amazing. And I loved it. I was just completely mesmerized, shocked. I was feeling a lot of emotions when I first listened to it. But yeah, definitely mesmerized.
Oh, I thought it was another question. The first time I've listened to it, I personally kept going back because I was like, what did she just say? Did she just say that? Oh my gosh, she's insane. What? And I was like, again, like JoJo said, I was mesmerized. I love the album. It was very touching and very beautiful.
Okay. And we have one more question, which we talked about this a little bit, but what are you guys on? What are you guys' thoughts on iLegacy? On the
I love
iLegacy?
it. I love it. I love it. I love the sound, like the new sound, the new breed of the sound, how it just it was really captivating. I was really like, wow. I just loved the sound. And just the new additions to the songs. It's just really different from Supernova. Just the sound is different from Supernova. And I loved it. I loved it.
Anybody else? I guess want to answer. I know we're about to run out of time. Actually, I think we only have about 2. Oh, we're a little over time. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, we've just been having a really great conversation, a really great flow.
I gave y'all a little bit more time because we joined a little late. Our welcome went a little bit over, so you have like just a few minutes to close out.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank all of you guys again for just sitting and talking with us. Oh, okay. We can answer maybe one more question. This is from the Symposium. What's you guys' favorite TLC album?
3D.
3D. Y'all,
and now you know it. And now,
3D.
and now I feel like
ready. They were ready.
Look, and now I feel like Lisa in that interview. That interview during the fan mail era where they're asking what the favorite album is, and T-Boz and Chile like, it's this one, fan mail, and she's like, my favorite is Crazy Sexy Cool. That's mine. That's mine.
I knew it was coming because the way she looked at her before.
The The way they was looking at her.
Yeah, no, but they knew it. They knew she was gonna say that. But no, Crazy Sexy Cool is my favorite for sure.
What about you, Ian?
Crazy, sexy, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we should go ahead and wrap up. But like I said, I want to thank all of you, Angie, Ian, JoJo, Courtney, for
No
just
problem.
taking the time to just talk to us or talk to me and everybody watching about the legacy of Lisa, her contributions to TLC, and just, giving us, especially you, Ian, giving us a lot of like really good behind the scenes information about Lisa, you guys' personal relationship, and, Angie with your books and, all the little Lisa tidbits and nuggets you have in literally all of your books. And just the archival work you, Courtney and JoJo do, because I know that's not easy, especially with, people in their opinions and just running social media fan pages and all of that, just all of it. You guys are very much appreciated. And I just, I just want to thank you. We can't thank you enough for all the things that you do to keep Lisa's legacy alive and to keep
You're so welcome.
TLC and like their appreciation, going through the music industry. We just can't thank you all enough for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
no
And
problem.
I want to take the time to thank all of you guys on the panel too for doing all that you do to keep her memory alive. It's really special to see you guys, especially you young people, and just working towards it and keeping her memory and her legacy alive. I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
No problem. It's our pleasure.
No problem.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Special guest. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Angie, for joining us. You donated your time and our first annual symposium, and we hope to have you for many, many more. Thank you so much. We are highly appreciative. We give you your flowers every single day because literally you guys are the best. Like I can't even. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get a little emotional, but this was really good first panel, and so we're gonna move on to our second panel, or actually, it's not a panel. It's actually a presentation. So we have an academic presentation on
Yes.
this freedom verse coming up next. So if you guys want to move on over to the next stream, and we'll meet you over there. But thank you. Everybody
Bye.
say thank you to Ian
Thank
and thank you,
you.
Joseph,
Thank you,
Courtney,
Angie.
Thank you, Angie.
Ian,
Thank you, Ian.
thank you, Glenn, for being an outstanding moderator.
Yes.
Appreciate you so much. Thank you all. All righty, we're gonna end this stream.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all. Thank you guys so much. Bye.